If you're just joining this series, welcome to the end of the story. Part 1 showed you an empire born from one man's impossible gamble. Part 2 showed you that empire bleeding from 3 wounds at once: a broken sky, a fading faith, and trade routes that no longer needed it. Now, in the 1430s, a rival kingdom called Ayutthayan is finally marching on the weakened heart of Angkor. Here is what actually happened when they arrived.
The fall of the greatest city in Southeast Asia wasn't a single dramatic battle. There was no last stand carved into legend, no burning skyline, no final desperate charge at the gates. It was quieter than that, and in a way, sadder. The Khmer elite simply gathered what mattered and left, walking away from the most extraordinary city on the continent in search of easier water and safer trade, somewhere near what's now Phnom Penh. They didn't lose Angkor in battle. They set it down. And the jungle, which had been waiting far longer than Ayutthayan ever had, was patient enough to let them finish leaving first.
What followed wasn't destruction, not in the way we usually picture it. It was something slower, a disappearing act. With no one left to hold it back, the same jungle Angkor had spent centuries pushing away came flooding back in. Roots as thick as a man's chest split open sandstone galleries meant to outlast kingdoms. The same monsoons that had once built an empire now took it apart, wall by wall, season by season. Within a handful of generations, people living only a short walk from Angkor had lost any real sense of what this place had once been. Not a ruin, exactly. More like a silence where a superpower used to stand. If you haven't watched parts 1 and 2 yet, this is the moment to go back, because what happens next only lands if you've seen how hard this empire fought to become what it was. And if you're all caught up, this is exactly the kind of series this channel is built on. Subscribe now, because there are other lost empires waiting in this feed, and you don't want to find out about them a year late. The Khmer people themselves never disappeared. Their descendants live across Cambodia today, and Angkor itself was never entirely forgotten by them, even as its scale faded into legend. But for a while, the empire that once commanded a continent came terrifyingly close to slipping out of human memory altogether. And that's the part of this story that should stay with you a little longer than the rest. Angkor didn't fall because its people were primitive, or careless, or simply outmatched. It fell because a kingdom built on water, faith, and trade eventually found all 3 shifting beneath it at once. And even a civilization this brilliant had nowhere left to bend.
Every civilization believes its foundations are permanent, its power obvious, its future guaranteed. For 400 years, the Khmer had every reason to believe that too. Then the rain stopped keeping its side of the arrangement. The faith that held the throne together quietly moved on. The ships stopped coming up the river. And somewhere in the Cambodian jungle, that same stone face is still watching the sunrise it was carved to measure, waiting, unbothered by time, for a world that stopped watching back a long time ago. If this series taught you anything, it's that empires don't usually die from one wound. They die from the ones nobody was watching, all at once. If you want more stories like this, subscribe and let this channel show you the next one.